Muslims have to understand, fathers, mothers, people have to really understand that, say for example, if their child becomes a non-Muslim, what power do they have?
In this country, they still do have a lot of power, but just not the weight of the law and the general society.
Yeah,
but within their community and family, they have a hell of a lot of power, as much as anyone anywhere.
Yeah, accepted. But what I would say is, like, do you know Noah? Like in the Quran, Noah, his son became a disbeliever, innit?
Ham.
No, not Ham. It's just his son.
Okay.
It doesn't have a name in the Quran. In Genesis 9:22, Ham, Sam, and Japheth.
Oh yeah, I took it that.
But that's something else.
Okay.
I would say that. What I would say that is hopefully a plea to the people that are watching as well. Yeah. People like my man here. Honestly, the best thing you can do with someone who's a non-Muslim, is to be kind to them and to do da'wah to them, to try and bring them back to Islam. Yeah, okay, that's my perspective. If they don't want to do it, in this case, it's like you have your religion.
But do you not see that there seems to be some extra either hatred or extra need to change or convert us than the general public? You get that feeling?
Because what it is you're seen as a traitor.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you've done, I'm not going to lie to you, bro, is seen as one of the worst things you can do. Let me tell you something that maybe someone.
Yeah, but when you say that is one of the worst things you could do, that's just an example of how bullying this religion is and how it forces people to stick inside it.
Let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. People don't know this, yeah? Some people always ask the question. They say that how comes, like, if you're born into a Muslim family, you have an advantage. Like, if you look at it from a theological perspective, if it means that you have to
that's only if Islam is true.
Yeah, if Islam is true and you're born into a Muslim family, then
it's an unfair advantage. Very unfair advantage.
Yes.
So they think, why would somebody in the starting lineup already set to win decides to go to the back and try it all from a much more less advantaged position?
Exactly.
The reason is because I'm intellectually honest and I looked at the arguments for why Islam is true and there's no good argument.
Do you know what? Let me tell you something.
No, there's no good reason to believe Islam is true. Answer.
How can I forget answer online? Sorry, I apologize.
I answer all questions, don't I?
Yeah. No, what I was going to say in response to my question, like, is, do you know in Islam, say you die an atheist, and this is going to sound so controversial.
I will die an atheist, but
this is going to, I'm not saying you, I'm saying the general mass, a general person, like a general.
Yeah, but you don't have to say atheist. Any non-Muslim will suffer the same situation.
If you die an atheist or Christian or whatever, we know in the Quran in 448 it says, God does not forgive that person who does shirk with him, associate partners, but he forgives whoever else he wants, yeah? So shirk is one of those things, if you die upon it, generally speaking, the idea is that you should be in eternal hellfire, yeah? However, people don't realize that there's a notable exception to this rule, yeah? Which is mentioned in chapter 17, verse 15, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. We were not going to destroy a people until we send them a messenger. All the tafsir of this verse, and other verses, one is Surah Al-Ma'idah, where it says Ahl al-Fitra, it talks about people of Fatra, yeah, and people of in Nisa, it's Hujjat and Rusul. Anyways, all of these verses indicate to us, if someone, for example, died an atheist, yeah, but he didn't know any, like for example, he lives in the Bible Belt, or he died a Christian.
You've never heard of Islam?
Never heard of Islam, yeah? We can't say that person is going to hell. That person could go to heaven, according to the Islamic.
Because then he'll be judged on his actions.
No, because what will happen according to the theology of Islam is that, and there's a hadith on this, he will be trialed independently on the day of judgment. Because that person...
But then what will his judgment be based on?
God will give him a specified, tailored judgment. What I'm saying is...
So you don't know nothing about it? You don't know what God is going to use to judge his life? Because he could have been a rapist, a murderer, or a charitable person. So that really matters as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're right.
So what is God going to do?
So what he's going to do is basically, according to that logic, there's some hadith that say he'll put him, like, he'll tell him to jump into a fire, and if he does it, like having trust in God, but obviously God will tell him. Anyways, the point being is that there'll be an independent trial on the day of judgment suited for that person. So what I'm saying is, and this is an important point, where the assumption was that Muslims have a natural born advantage because they're born into a Muslim family, actually the truth is that you could have more of a problem as a Muslim born in a Muslim family because you've been exposed to the message than if you were an atheist that dies upon atheism, and the atheist that dies upon atheism.
But the thing is, I don't really care, because the fact is, I could only care if I thought it was true. Whereas I found out that it's very unlikely to be true, so I really don't care. Because what you're doing to me is threatening me with the hellfire for being in a situation where I should have respected that God put me in an advantageous position. But guess what? Any religion could say that to me. I reject all of them, and I reject Islam.
Let me tell you something, bro. Look, honestly, I'm not threatening you. I'm not.
Yeah, but you're trying to make me think that there is a bigger reason for me to not leave Islam because there's a bigger consequence to that. And I'm telling you that first you have to establish that it's true first, and I will agree with you. But if you can't establish it's true, there's no good reason for me to listen to this story.
Let me ask you a question. No, I'm just saying. The reason why I told you this answer is because I just wanted to show you that this was a misconception that people had.
Okay.
You get me? It was nothing. It was not necessarily directed to you, although it does have some like.
Yeah, it's relevant.
Yeah, it's relevant. Yeah. Okay. Now let me ask you your question, because
now we get down to it. That was just to throw me off the scent, yeah?
Why did you leave Islam?
I left Islam because when I was younger, I used to be a Muslim. I used to go to mosque, I used to study, I used to pray, I used to do all the normal things. But I was quite intellectual. I used to love reading books. So
yeah, I know you were, man.
Yeah, so I found out about a lot of other ways of looking at the world which were very different from Islam and definitely contradicted Islam. So it came into my head, maybe Islam's not true. Because to be fair, the only thing I've got to go on is the fact my parents forced me to think it was true. So I started saying, you know what, I could find out loads of different things about things, but how am I ever going to know which is true unless I be intellectually honest? And being intellectually honest means I will accept the things I think I know, the things I think I could possibly find out, and the things I think I don't know at all.
I've heard what you said now. I'm registering it. I'm trying to be as empathetic as possible. I want to know where you're coming from. Yeah? Do you get me? So I want to say to you now is, you said that there's certain things that are outside of the epistemological framework of Islam. However, and you realise that they contradicted Islam. So what were the things that you realised?
Well, for example, that there's another religion which claims to have a God, which is a different God from the Islamic one. So how do I know which is the true God?
No, that's a good question. That's a good question, bro. I like a question. Let me tell you something. Someone was asking me a question today, yeah? He said to me, how do you know Islam? Why am I? He asked me the opposite question.
Yeah,
to the one I'm asking
why are you Muslim?
Why am I Muslim? He actually asked me that question. It's on video, isn't it? Okay. I said to him, the reason why I am a Muslim, first and foremost, is because number one, I believe that the most coherent explanation for why we are here and the creation of the universe is that there was one singular entity that created the universe and that we should worship, therefore. Yeah,
but that doesn't help Islam, because because a Christian could say that and it would be one single entity.
Thank you very much. Answer, this is what I said to him. I continued and said to him, that actually, when I looked at when I looked at other religions, like for example, if you look at the 6 or 7 major world religions, my contention, I'm sure you would actually agree with this, is that when it comes to uncompromising monotheism, Islam is the most strict. So for example, the Christian faith.
Yeah, but what's strict got to do with truth?
No, that's what I mean. Like, remember, my premise was that I believe that the most coherent explanation for the universe being in existence and being maintained and all that kind of stuff was that there was one singular entity which we call, let's say, Allah, God, whatever you want to call it. And then this entity brought rise to the universe and is maintaining it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I can't see a good reason for thinking that, because I used to think that, and then when I realised that there was actually physical explanations for pretty much everything that we normally put God in position for, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to make up any of them.
Right, so like, do you know, from an Islamic perspective, as you know, like we believe in certain attributes of God. And I agree with, you know, Richard Dawkins, look, there's some parts of his books that do make, we have to be honest. So what he was saying was that, and he even said this to Brother Hamza's horses when he met him one time.
Oh yeah, outside that door.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
And he goes, but you know, you believe in a God that answers prayers and this and merciful and this and that. Look, he's right, yeah? You cannot prove every attribute of God as per what the Quran says. You can't.
But I don't think you can prove any of them.
Okay,
you can't even prove him.
That's what I'm
so, like, what's going on here? This is what I want to say to you, is that I understand what you're doing and I appreciate the fact that we're actually having a proper conversation. But really what it comes down to is, what's the starting point? The starting point is, we have to accept that the universe exists. Me and you both. Because if we don't accept the universe exists, then we don't exist.
But let me ask you a question,
No, but let me definition. Because where we start from is crucial. Now, where we do start from
You
is...
believe that universe exists?
I believe the universe exists.
No.
And you believe the universe exists. I believe that I exist. And you believe you exist. I believe I have rationality. And you believe you have rationality. Now we can start from here where we've assumed these things and we both assume them. Let's have a conversation.
Okay.
Now, why do you think God exists?
Okay. I'm going to put forward an argument.
Of course you will.
Tell me what you think of it. If I said to you, look, like everything with limited variables.
With limited variables?
Yeah, everything with limited variables depends upon something else. Depends upon something else.
I don't know what you mean.
Anything that's in existence here, that has limited variables.
What do you mean limited variables? I mean, like, doesn't everything have limited variables? If the universe turns out not to be...
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Everything in our observation, which has limited variables.
Which is everything.
Yeah, okay, good. Everything that we can empirically see, innit? Depends upon something else. Do you accept that?
Well, I don't know really, because I don't know what level you're talking at now. It depends. If you say everything and you're talking about specific objects, that's a different point from everything as in every single atom and quantum level of everything. Yeah? So essentially, if we talk about it with the scientific understanding of quantum reality, everything is everything, and everything does relate to everything else.
That's right, so you would agree with that?
Well, it does, but not in the sense that there's a linear structure, meaning that this depends on this and this depends on this. No, everything in the universe depends on everything else.
So here what you've said is that there does not have to be a linear structure. I agree with you. So it can be a circular structure.
No, that's not what, I'm not talking about shapes. I'm not talking about shapes. What I'm talking about is limiting one thing relying on one thing else to the simple fact of the matter, which is that everything affects everything.
Answer, I agree with you, You're saying that, for example, it doesn't have to relate to a linear structure which is based on some kind of time. Yeah. Okay, agreed.
I don't know, because...
No, that's what you said, didn't you? So
I didn't say time. I didn't say anything about time.
Okay, forget about time. Linear structure, I agree with you, innit? But you said that everything is, in your own words, you said that everything has limited variables, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So, the universe has limited variables.
Seems like it.
Therefore, the universe depends upon something else.
Not necessarily.
But you see, this is
the thing, that logic you're using about things you've learnt about within the universe, you are now trying to apply that logic to universes. No. That's a big step to make.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, because...
I'm not saying universe, I'm talking about this universe.
Right, so what are we saying about this universe?
So, the first thing...
What you're saying about this universe, that it depends on something else.
What I said, the first thing is...
So, you're using the logic at the scale of inside the universe to talk about how the universe must also be succumbed to that logic.
No. Do you know what you've described? It's something called the fallacy of composition, yeah? That's not what I'm referring to. I'm making... And these are principles which are nothing to do with...
And do these principles limit themselves to the universe? Yes, they do.
Why would they?
Well, so you're saying that we've learned something about the universe, therefore that tells us how universes behave.
No, I didn't say universes.
So how are you telling me that you know...
I didn't say anything
So how do you know that the universe depends on something else? You don't know nothing about anything outside this universe.
Yeah, I'm not talking
So maybe there is nothing outside this universe, and therefore the universe doesn't depend on any external thing.
Hold on, let me go back here, so you can go back.
Yeah, but for you to claim that the universe also depends on an external thing is an assertion that you cannot prove.
Let me say it again, We agreed. You said yourself in your own words, that everything in existence,
I said everything in the universe depends on everything else in the universe.
No, before that.
Okay, bro, as far as I'm concerned, we're only talking about the universe. We're not talking about outside the universe.
I said anything with limited variables depends upon something else.
Bro, that's fine. That's fine in sociology and psychology, but you can't use that to talk about universes.
I'm saying everything, and I am talking about universe. I'm talking about everything.
Right, so now you're talking about everything in the universe and all universes and all potential universes.
No, hold on.
What are you talking about?
You said all potential universes and all universes, These two statements don't make sense.
Bro, listen, rather than confusing
answer, let me say why it doesn't make sense.
That doesn't matter, bro. The fact of the matter is you're trying to claim that the logic of things in the universe depending on each other also applies to the universe having to depend on something. That's not necessarily the case.
You said that it refers to all universes. I've said nothing about other universes.
Right. So you are still claiming that there's something external. No, you are claiming that this universe depends on something external to this universe. Otherwise, you would agreed with me when I said that everything in the universe depends on everything in the universe.
Okay. Are you saying? Okay, I understand your point now. Yes, I get you. Answer yes, I understand. Sorry.
Took a bit of time.
So yeah.
And I'm still not sure.
You have 3 points, yeah? You can either say that the universe is dependent upon itself, which is what you're saying, yeah? You said everything in this universe is depending on...
No, wait a minute. You started this from a sentence about anything that has unlimited variables, yeah? That's not talking about...
No, unlimited, that's limited.
Right, anything that has limited variables depends on something else.
Yes.
Right. So fine, in all practical day-to-day terms, that might well be true.
Okay.
But the fact is, we don't know whether that applies to the universe itself.
No, then I said the universe...
So does that apply to the universe? Right, show me how.
I've said everything that... My first premise was that anything with limited variables, depends upon something else.
Right, so first of all, demonstrate that the universe has limited variables, then show me what it depends upon. Because if the universe turns out to be infinite, there could be infinite variables as well. And we don't know the answer to that.
When I say infinite, when I say limited variables, do you agree with me that the universe has limited variables?
Well, no, actually I don't know, because the universe may not be infinite.
Because you didn't agree before.
For the sake of argument, even if it did...
No, you never said for the sake of argument.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, even if it did, even if I go back to that position, the fact is...
No, we're not saying for the sake of argument.
You still have to demonstrate that the universe actually is that case, and it does depend on something else.
Let me ask you a question. Is there limited... Let's just make it simple for the people. Answer, please.
All you're saying is something with limited variables depends on something else.
Answer, please. Let's keep it simple.
What does that even mean?
Let's keep it simple, please. Yeah? We're discussing freely. It's easy. Look, easy discussion. I know. Look, I'm just talking about rational concepts. I haven't even mentioned religion. I know there might be some pressure on you to... I don't know what you...
No, bro. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Just get straight to the point.
Okay, I'm getting to the point, bro. Let's just take a simple example. Are there limited or unlimited amount of stars in the universe?
I don't know.
Okay, if you know there's something called a supernova, yeah? A supernova is when the star dies, isn't it? Okay, if a supernova happens, then you have one less star in the universe, yeah? Mm-hmm. If that happens, if there's unlimited amount of stars in the universe and one star dies, how many stars are there? Limited or unlimited amount?
If the universe has a limited amount of stars or an unlimited amount of stars,
you're saying, because there's two options you have, yeah? We're talking about unlimited or limited, isn't it? So if I say that you've got an unlimited amount of stars in the universe, and then one star dies through a supernova, do you have unlimited or limited amount of stars in the universe?
Did you start with a limited amount?
I'm just saying, whatever it is, either limited.
If you started with an unlimited amount, it would always still be an unlimited amount. If you started with a limited amount,
take away one.
Yeah, of course.
So infinity minus 1 equals infinity.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't. That's a contradiction. You can't have infinity minus 1. Infinity minus 1 doesn't exist. It's a construct, which is a contradiction in terms.
What are you talking about?
Infinity by its nature, you can't add or minus to it.
So if you could go in that direction for infinite, how does that mean that you couldn't go from 1 meter closer to infinite?
That's what we're saying. You can't go in that direction for infinite.
Why not?
Because if you take away, look, if you have an infinite amount of stars and you take one star away, then you have infinity minus 1.
No, you still have infinity.
But that's the problem. That's a contradiction.
Bro, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing because infinity is not a number. Infinity is a process that will go on forever.
So you're saying infinity is not a number?
Of course it's not a number.
So what is it?
It's a concept.
It's a concept
of going on forever.
So it's a mathematical concept.
Yeah.
Alright, fine. Here we're saying if you have an infinite amount of stars and you take one away, is that feasible? Would you still have infinity?
Of course it's feasible.
It's not feasible.
Why is it not feasible?
Bro, you have to...
If you had an infinite number of things and you did anything to it, it would always still be infinite because it's an ongoing process forever.
This is actually a contradiction.
Bro.
Because infinity plus or minus 1 is
an infinity.
It's not, it doesn't exist. That's a contradiction in terms.
Bro, you're not understanding. When you say infinity, it's not a set thing you're talking about. That when you take something, it changes it. You're talking about a process that will go on forever. So no matter what you take or give to it, it will still go on forever. Okay. That's why it's still infinity.
No, it wouldn't be so. Because the idea of infinity, look, you have to understand something.
Bro, it's not my fault that you don't know basic mathematics. The definition of infinity
by the way,
is how I'm using it.
It's not basic.
The answer is correct, yeah, because when you take away...
Wait, be quiet, please.
It's still infinity.
I'm still discussing.
Ali, that was the same thing as you and
This is nonsense, bro.
Okay. Let me just discuss it with him.
Yeah, so even when the star goes and another one is born, the number will still be the same.
Let me tell you something, right? You're saying I don't know basic maths. This concept is been...
No, I'm saying you're misunderstanding infinity.
Okay, fine. Even if that's the case.
Because
Even if I'm ignorant of basic
you're trying
maths.
to use it like it's a set number, and therefore
Okay,
the
by the
idea
way,
of taking. Oh, let me say something. That if you treat infinity like a number, then the idea of taking something away or putting something to it would change it because if it was a number. But it's not a number.
Okay.
It's something
So
that
are you
will
saying
go on
there's an infinite
forever.
amount? Is there an infinite amount of stars in the
I don't
universe?
know.
Is it possible for there to be an infinite amount of stars in the universe?
Well, if I don't know, then it might be possible, isn't it? The reason why I say I don't know is because I don't know if it's possible or not. That's the whole point of saying I
Is there an
don't
infinite
know.
amount of every single variable that there is in the universe?
Bro, I don't know these things, and neither do you.
No, I'm telling you there isn't. I'm saying the universe
well,
has
I'm not
limited
convinced.
variables.
I'm not convinced.
So you're not convinced by that?
I'm not convinced that
See,
the
that's
universe has a limited number of variables.
So you're saying it might have an unlimited amount of variables?
No, I'm saying that if the universe turns out to be infinite, then the number of variables could also well be infinite.
So you're saying the universe itself, but that's not necessarily the case.
Might.
No, do you know why that's not true? Because if the universe in time is infinite, because that's what you're talking about. In time,
If it turns out to be infinite.
time is one factor, isn't it?
No, even in space, even in size.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's time, space. It doesn't mean that the constitutes of it, the things that are inside it, has to also be infinite. Do you get me? Anyways, what I'm saying is, let's just go. Let me finish this argument.
Yeah, Irhabiyin.
Anything that has a limited amount of variables depends on something else. Yeah? The universe has a limited amount of variables. Therefore, the universe depends upon something else. Now, you said before that the universe, everything in the universe. Listen, please.
None of that makes sense to me.
Answer, please. Listen. Answer. You said that everything in the universe depends upon everything in the universe. Did you say that?
Everything else in the universe. Yes.
Yeah. That's a circular argument. Why are you laughing?
Where's the circular argument?
You're basically saying that everything is dependent upon everything, which is actually the definition of circularity.
Can it not be that the circular situation is the truth? Can it not be that the circular situation is the truth? Can it not be that the circular situation is the truth?
Can it not be that the circular situation is the truth?
Can it not be that the circular situation is the truth?
No.
Right, so what you're saying is that everything in this universe cannot be explained in terms of everything in this universe.
No, I didn't say explain. I used the word dependent, contingent. So you can't say that everything is dependent. If I say, for example,
You're tap dancing. At the end of the day, in this, I'm using.
You're saying
I accept. Remember where we started from.
Yeah.
We accept the universe exists. Now, to explain why the universe is the way it is, you need to create a magical dimension to fit your God in. I don't need to do that.
I'm not making a
I will
dimension.
look at the universe.
That's not straw man argument.
I will look at the universe itself and seek to explain it within terms of the universe itself. If you think that's circular, that's fine, bro.
no, hold on.
But that's up
Are
to you.
you saying that the universe itself is dependent upon the universe itself? So
No, I'm not saying that the existence of the universe depends on the universe existing.
what are you saying?
I'm not saying that.
So what are
but
you saying?
I was saying that when you said
So what's the existence of the universe? How would you answer that? What the existence of the universe? What is it dependent on?
I don't know.
Is it? You can either have one or two things. Is it dependent upon? You got three options. Yeah. The existence of the universe is dependent upon its own existence. One, which is circular and contradictory. The existence of the universe is dependent or contingent on something else which is dependent. The existence of the universe is dependent upon that which is independent. Which is it? Which is it? So
At the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know.
Hold on.
Because you starting.
No, we do know.
No, we don't.
Okay, now hold on. This is how logic works. We try and break down the.
Yeah, and I told you that the logic you're using applies to things within the universe. You cannot take that logic, which works within the universe, then you take it outside and say, oh, that also explains things. Right, because we've never been out there. There might not be anything out there.
You're assuming that
you have to establish that first. Is there anything outside of the physical universe?
If the universe is expanding, there is, yeah.
That explains the cause of it.
No, if the universe is expanding, there is.
No, there's not.
Why not?
What is it? Tell me what it is.
So what's it expanding into?
Right, tell me what that is then.
We don't know.
Right.
It could be another universe, it could be many
Right, so this is what I'm saying to you, is that you don't know nothing about where our universe ends, and there must be something outside of it. You don't know nothing about that.
If the universe is expanding, then it must be expanding into something, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't go into like.
That's fine, you can do that.
If not, then what is it expanding into?
It hurts my head after.
Right, so what does that tell you? That there must be something there for it to expand into. There must be empty space there for it to expand into.
not saying empty space. I say it must be something.
It must be something.
Yeah.
So what?
So what? Okay, so hear what I'm saying to you, bro. It's a simple argument. Look, I'm going to be straightforward.
I know it's a simple argument.
Look, I'll tell you what
but
I'm
it's
saying.
too simple.
One of the conceptions, one of the attributes of God, according to the Islamic, I'm sure you remember this.
Look, this is the thing, Mohammed. Do not limit yourself to this Islamic concept because this is nonsense. The fact of the matter is, you start your deductive logic from what you should be facts, but these are not facts.
Okay, so these are not facts.
So these deductive logic
so my premise does
not work.
Are my premises false?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they are not established as facts. So you can't start your deductive logic. No. They may or may not be true. You don't know that, and I don't know that.
Okay, so you're saying that you believe that my premises are.
I believe that they're not convincing to be accepted as a true premise.
If I say to you,
they're just a weak assumption.
Okay, hold on. Here, I've said to you, look, with the universe, do you accept that there are three options? Either that the universe is dependent upon itself, or that the universe is dependent upon something else which is dependent, or that the universe is independent.
Here's one option. Oh, a self-creating universe. Oh, right. Well, there is a possibility to have a self-creating universe.
I'm not talking about creation. I'm talking about dependency, which are two different things.
Yeah, but then if it created itself, then it didn't depend on anything else.
If you think the universe is self-creating, that's ignorance to the highest degree, sir.
No, that is a model that's been presented by, who's that? Gottenly, right? Famous scientist, yeah?
Yeah, no, but it's not possible.
It's a model that they put forward as a possibility, a potential possibility.
No, it's not a model, sir.
You don't know more about the origin of the universe than those guys. You are just using the fact that you want Islam to be true, and you try and squeeze it in everywhere. Bro, it's nonsense. It's so silly.
So listen, bro, it seems like you're getting emotional, and I'm trying to keep this into a rational discourse. Just because I'm a Muslim, you used to be part of my faith group, you've left the faith. Yeah. I'm not angry with you for it.
Yeah,
Do you understand? Yeah. I would hope that you're not angry with me.
I'm not angry with you.
Okay, so
but
please.
Terrible arguments are still terrible arguments.
Please answer, listen. Just as I'm sure you'd be nice to someone who's an atheist or someone who's a non-Muslim.
No, not if they chat shit to me.
Okay, let's not be swearing.
I'll put them in their place same way.
Okay, no problem. But here, I'm just saying, instead of using arrogating terms and using these kinds of terms,
the simple fact of the matter
frustrated.
You started off, we were all nice and well, but the fact of the matter is your argument is rubbish.
Okay,
it's not a good argument.
Answer.
Just tell me
your subjective opinion.
Right, just tell me
what
you think is true and why you think it's true.
Okay,
this nonsense ain't going nowhere.
Okay, answer. Thank you for showing your frustration. I appreciate where you're coming from.
Bro, I'm not frustrated. I'm just upset that you bring these weak arguments. There are better arguments out there.
Okay, asserting something is weak doesn't make it weak.
Right, so what's so good about this argument again?
What I'm saying, answer, and I hope that we can just keep it civil. We went out talking the other day. Please, answer, please. Let's not, for the sake of the camera, just make this into some kind of, some kind of war.
Is that what you want?
Frustration.
You want a war?
Listen, bro, I'm just trying to show you my worldview. Yeah? I'm sorry if it's making you frustrated.
Nah, the only thing that I get frustrated about, bro, is the fact that you are starting your deductive logic of things that are way less than established facts.
Okay, thank you, Answer. Thank you very much. What do you consider established facts?
Well, to some extent, there will never be anything that's absolutely a fact, yeah?
Okay.
But if you were going to start deductive...
So even what you just said...
No. If you are going to start deductive logic, it has to be on something that is at least accepted to be true or self-evidently true, in the sense that if my version of deductive logic is that all human beings will die. Do you disagree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay. I am a human being. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Right, so I will die. This is premise, conclusion.
Yeah.
That's how deductive logic works.
Okay.
Now what you guys do is rape that system and put in silly claims about the universe and these variables.
Listen, excuse me, hold on. Hold on.
This is not where deductive logic begins from.
Answer, please. Let's calm down and let's just speak properly.
I'm calm, bro.
Okay.
I don't know why you think I'm not. You're trying to make a show of the fact that I'm not calm, but this is how I behave. This is how I talk.
Oh, okay, fine.
Even amongst my friends and stuff, this is just me.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen me ever be different?
Yeah, when we were talking in the restaurant, we were completely...
Okay, but in a restaurant, we'd have time to sit in the car and chat and gel and
and that's what I want to go back to.
Yeah, but you just turned up and talked to me for 2 minutes and then brought the camera over. But you only talked to me for 1 minute and then you dragged the camera over.
Answer. I haven't... When you were in the car, did I attempt to run, kill you, hit you, beat you up? No, seriously.
I have to admit you didn't.
When we were in the car, when I was driving you to the restaurant, did I take a wrong turn and then take you out of the car
very safe driver.
with the brothers?
I was waiting for that.
No, it didn't happen. Okay. So here, I have no problem with you.
Yeah,
okay? I know you're an ex-Muslim. I know you've suffered. But listen, I'm not here to attack you. Okay? I really am not. Wallahi, I'm not. I'm just exchanging ideas with you, bro. Maybe you're right. Yeah, well, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe. Yeah. Show me how, please. Because,
like I said to you, I've got nothing against you, bro. I do like you.
Wallahi, answer. Let me say something. Yeah. If I'm wrong, instead of just asserting that such a weak argument, it's a terrible argument, you're raping the system, and all of these.
No, you're raping the deductive logic.
Finance. But instead of doing that, because I promise you, anyone can do that. A scientist can say things, and mathematicians can, like, you know, when you were in maths, GCSE maths, and your teacher was putting math things on the wall, you could have said, look, it's a terrible argument, you're raping the system. You could have said exactly the same things to the teacher.
But I've explained.
But here, what I'm saying is, just because you said that, it doesn't make it true, okay?
Yeah, no, I have explained it.
Okay, I understand. So hyperbole and over-exaggeration, I don't think it's, let's just keep it simple. Now,
I did explain it.
Right.
The fact is, you're using your deductive logic with premises that are less than accepted.
What's your accepted? What's your something?
I'm not making any deductive logic, am I? Did you see me start with a premise conclusion? And when I did, I made sure that you agreed.
Answer. What's something which
so you need to do the same.
Okay, fine.
Make your premise and ask me if I agree.
Ask you.
No, make your first premise and ask me if I agree that that's a valid premise.
I do that, I will do that. But I just want to ask you now, what is that which you will agree with?
Bro, how can I know before you tell me it? I don't know what I will agree
What's your standard of truth?
My standard of truth is that there might not be any such thing as absolute truth.
So what you've just said there could be false?
It could be false.
Okay, thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair. I'm going to go and pray Maghrib. We'll catch up later. I think with the cameras and that.
You'd rather do this privately? It's all good, bro.